Oh, none on Blue Moon and Harmony?
Now, tonight, we're gonna be signing
Jeff
that
Hunt is a,
ordinance, the 25-2.
he got more money than the rest of
What about-
We're gonna do the first reading, right? So
And
tonight
he
we're
is.
signing
Yeah, I brought the other ones that have been.
it. Did you? Okay, good, because I wasn't sure about the one I had, because it still had all the
We
red.
gave him 2 or 3.
Yeah, but we had some
cut them dead trees down
tweaks.
for him and
Okay,
take care of the trees.
all right, we'll go.
And he's not doing it. He said, well, who do I call? So Mick said, hey, this one, this one, this one. And English actually, on Darmstadt Restaurant, English gave a recommendation for a guy that he was super. I called him just out of the blue, the guy came right out, gave me a great price.
There's one dragging this up.
And you see how good job. He's got a logging background,
Well, that's good.
so, you know, hey,
So your tweak thing still says to add admin to well users, and 20% electric energy.
Yeah, it's,
That's the main thing, right?
Hello, hello.
I knew. I had a question asked to me, and I don't know the answer. On our board,
Yes.
can somebody supply subdivision, they can afford with me?
All right, let's do this. Welcome, everybody. Before I call this meeting to order, I'd like to take a moment to ask for help from above. Heavenly Father, we pray for your guidance in our decisions in hopes that they will be in the best interests of our town and for the people that we represent. Amen. I now call the Darmstadt April 15th Town Council meeting to order. Thank you all for coming, and let's join together and pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for coming. Try to keep it to a dull roar out there. Has everybody received a copy of the minutes from the last meeting? And if so, do we have a motion on the floor to accept those minutes? Is that a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept minutes.
And a second, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries. We got this. Financial reports, have we taken a look at that by chance? Do I have a motion to accept? Motion. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Have we had a chance to take a look at the bills? And do we feel like paying any of them?
I was confused, but I'm now better.
I'll make the motion to approve. I've got a motion to approve, do I have a second? Chris is.
Second.
All right, all in favor of paying the bills, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed say nay. Bills are paid. Ms. Clerk Treasurer.
My report's short.
Ooh,
Per our agreement, I did send the state opioid revenue to the sheriff's department. We had already previously agreed on that. What we had was total was $8,756 right now, and that was our restricted and unrestricted funds. So then also any future disbursements that we did, usually they come in about $2,000 increments. I'll just forward to the sheriff's department. Last month, the town received in $27,800 and spent $28,300. Sewer utility brought in $71,600 and we had one new sewer tap for $5,300 that came in and spent $51,000, so that was a good month for the sewer department. I've updated the well user fees for all the affidavits that came in. We had a deadline of March 31st. So anybody now that has not turned in their affidavit will receive a full well user charge.
What's the total? Do you know offhand?
For well user,
3,000 and 5,000 up? How's that break down?
I mean,
I mean, like, how many is on the 3,000 and less? Or 3,000 and how many's on the 5,000 gallon?
I don't know, we'll have to go through.
Oh, okay, I figured myself, okay.
Yeah, so yeah, one pays what, 76 and one's $150 a month. Our next roundtable is in Montgomery, Indiana. That's on Wednesday, May 7th. Let me know who's going to be attending.
I think we're going.
Are you going?
I think, are we going? Maybe. I might be a ride.
Yeah, I'm in.
Isn't that also your birthday?
That's my birthday.
Okay, so you get to buy her a free birthday dinner, so it won't cost you anything, Keith.
Actually, have that-
Well, think about.
What time is that?
Nice. I think 5,
They're an hour ahead
They're
of us,
on
aren't
fast
they?
time,
Oh,
yes.
yes.
Yeah,
we'll have to be there
Montgomery
early.
is.
That's like an hour away, isn't it? Montgomery is?
Yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood.
I brought the AIM
Halfway to
notice on it.
Bloomington, I believe.
It's easier to get there now than it used to be.
Okay. So Crystal
You know,
King,
horse and buggy.
Eric Ray, no Ray?
Yeah, I'll.
So will you register for us?
I'm good.
Okay, thank you.
I'll let you guys have it.
And then last thing I have was the annual cleanup day. I don't know if there's, want me to talk about that.
I don't have anything down. We had the cleanup day this past weekend. The weather was favorable. Looking at the next couple of days of weather, there could be some rain. So I think we got this right. We picked up 77 hundredths of a ton, which is 1,540 pounds
That's a lot.
of waste. We got a 160-pound discount because when the scale master wasn't looking, I stepped off the scale when he weighed his. But we only got stuck, what, 12?
Yeah, tell them what else happened. Gotta get pushed out by the bulldozer.
Well, that's the second year in a row. Yeah.
Yes.
Whoops.
But we did really good. That was a record number of volunteers.
That's good.
I counted them up. I think it was 44 from what I have, and I know there was more
Really
than
good.
44. But it was a nice turnout, and
And big thanks to the fire and
Volunteer.
sheriff department.
And we had lots of kids there
Yeah,
helping.
that was
Yes,
great.
that was neat.
Yes, that's all I
so
had.
it was a nice turnout. It went well. I can tweak it a little bit, and I think maybe things go a little better. We're gonna work on a web page or something like that to try and make it easier for me to know who's coming and for everybody else to know who's coming.
Yeah, I think we were just gonna
Somehow.
ask Ray. That's probably something pretty simple. We can put on the website to sign up
Yeah.
for things.
So we're doing good. So anyways, we got the roads cleaned up for a little bit. If you do the math on it, it's about 6 pounds a day of trash gets thrown on the roads.
Oh, my goodness.
Most of it alcohol, from what I
Yes.
picked up.
Fireball was the winner.
Yes,
It
fireball.
always is.
Fireball.
Fireball was the winner, for sure.
There.
I've never tasted that.
That's really-
No.
Me neither.
I got
but
some
I've
in
been
my truck
told
right now.
that
I don't think we're
it's
missing
like
anything.
liquid cinnamon. People packing their lunch boxes.
That's it, Eric.
All right. Fire department report, Brandon.
All right, we had 6 runs last month, 5-minute, 38-second response time, average response time was 3 medical runs with transports to the hospital, 2 grass fires, and 1 false alarm. So it's kind of a slow month. I did have a question for you guys. So 2 weeks ago, not the past tornado, but the one before that, there was a situation on Boone and Harmony where we got dispatched to a run that was in Armstrong. We could, everywhere we went, we hit trees across the road. So the one that was near your house, if we could have gotten a hold of the guys to use the backhoe to push it out of the way, we could have gotten through a lot quicker. And when I called dispatch, I asked them to call the Darmstadt County Garage. She said that she didn't know a phone number. So what number should they call if we need like an emergency, something like that?
Dispatch. Dispatch does not have our number.
Well, they know
should,
they
because
know the county garage.
They've
but-
called us before, they call the guys at 2 in the morning when the trees come down.
Okay, well then maybe this
I
dispatcher didn't
wondered-
know.
Yeah, is that just regular 911?
Well, yeah, I mean, county dispatch, yeah.
County dispatch?
Mhm.
I will follow up with that and
Yeah,
just
we
see
need to
to it
make
that they've
sure.
got not the 1413 number, but both of those guys' cell.
Cell phone numbers.
Yeah.
too.
That's good. I mean, it wasn't, we ended up, one of the side roads, we just cut it up and we were able to get through it. It's delayed us about 20 minutes. So luckily it wasn't too big of an emergency, the person just fell out of bed.
Yeah, well, we don't want to do.
Definitely need to have our number.
Yeah.
And Mike, Sheriff's Department.
Ours, close. Business checks, there were 10 business checks. Two check welfares. That's usually a relative or a friend or something has occurred from Jim Bob, and they're like, hey, can you run by the house? 2 commercial alarms, 1 general complaint, 2 harassment reports, which wasn't on you this time.
Neither one of them.
Didn't get the call.
One home security, which was the Old State home. 4 neighborhood checks, 3 paper services, 2 reckless drivers. Those were BOLs, be on the lookout. So it was most likely somebody flying down Don Stoddard to the Army. 1 residential alarm, 5 sheriff traffic enforcements, 1 shots fired, and that was off Workman. There's somebody fired shooting or whatever.
Yeah.
1 suspicious, 1 vehicle check, 59 extra patrols. That's almost 2 every day.
Thank you.
Somebody is in Darmstadt twice a day at least. And that's not counting anybody just driving, when we drive through to hit 41. So 3 traffic stops, which was down. 1 voyeurism, and that was at the 4-H center. And I don't know if somebody couldn't get into one of the bathrooms or something and just decided to go behind the tree, but I guess somebody saw them and called.
That's voyeurism?
Yeah.
Not public indecency.
Well, it was dispatched as voyeurism.
All right.
Really?
Yeah. And then just 1 incident report. So not too busy. That's one, kind of like the fire.
Well, that was for past. I know there's at least 1 business in this town that got cleaned out over this weekend.
Congratulations. You tired, I bet.
The new landlord's like a pain in your butt.
I'm not done, so, but yeah. I thought there was some equipment.
Maintenance department, seasonal maintenance department, we've had 58 locates and 34 service calls since the last meeting. They piped through 1 manhole. We would have gotten rid of 4 manholes, but we've been waiting for GIS to basically track the gravity lines before we fill them in, where we know exactly where they're at. So they're going to jump back on that this coming week, and so we should knock out about 3, 4, 5 more manholes by next meeting. Road edges, they've been repairing potholes and road edges around town. Working on the ditches on Eaglefield, Workman, and St. Joe Avenue. Of course, they removed several trees during the recent storms. And we've been having problems with the north mag meter running very, very high gallons per minute. We've sent 2 emails to Evansville Water and Sewer Utility with no response yet. So, it's almost triple what it normally runs.
So that increase is gonna show up
Eventually. This last month you saw
if it continues.
32,000.
It's not so much the gallons going through there, it's the gallons per minute that really throws up a red flag that tells me that that mag meter is not working properly. It normally runs 37 to 50 some odd gallons per minute. And at the times we checked it, it was up around 131 gallons per minute.
What size pipe runs out of there? You can't even do that to the one that you did.
So you had to ask me something I
No,
don't
it's a
know.
4
I have no idea what size pipe it is. But like I said, normally 30 to 15 is running, well, 117, 131. We're doing our own mag meter readings now before like a rain event, after the rain event, so that we can see what the difference is, and it's crazy. We don't have that much I&I. We have I&I, but we're not that much.
Yeah, we talked about that too, so.
Yes. So But that's, but it's really discouraging not having any kind of response from having good water and sewer. And that's it. That's,
We'll mention that something else about the sewer. Resident comments, anybody? All quiet out there.
Carol's not here. Honest.
We haven't adjourned yet.
That's right, we better hurry up.
Well, on to old business, Evansville Water and Sewer Utility Mandate Charges Litigation Update. Josh, I think that'd be you.
Yeah, I CC'd you guys on the emails today to the financial advisor we've been working with. I probably waited later than I should have to make sure he was working on it, but regardless, we got an answer. He actually ended up calling me this evening as well to follow up and suggested it may be worthwhile to have a conversation / meeting with him from the council. Obviously we have the open door issues, so that if this is litigation theoretically, so we could do it in an executive session. On the other hand, if there was one or two of you that wanted to meet with him and me, and presumably Mallory would want to be in on that, we could do it that way. But he suggested something along those lines would be helpful, and I tend to agree. Just to reiterate, we have a live issue on what we think is some calibration, but we want to make this as strong as possible and get to the bottom of how our charges are being calculated, and that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
So I don't know what everybody's thoughts or preferences are in terms of a discussion with him. Like I said, we could do just one or two of you, it makes it easier, or we could schedule an executive session.
It'd be better if the whole council was here, so everyone's on the same page.
I tend to agree with that.
Okay.
Will he just call in, or does he have to drive?
No, we could do that. The question, we could even, we could do that. What availability for everybody here, what kind of days and times could I throw out?
Is 2 weeks too far out? If we want to do our little special meeting again, we're gonna move along a little faster than that.
Like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's really up to you. I think we ought to get a few to throw at him,
I just said that because we've been doing a special meeting on the first. Actually, I think it would be 3 weeks out this time. But,
I don't want
don't wait that long.
we
I
could
say
do
it should be better.
Yeah.
I was about to say the same thing.
I
22nd.
have solid waste on the 6th, but it's at 8:30 in the morning, so.
How about
That's all
next
I have.
Tuesday, the 22nd,
What, even Friday, or is that not good because it's Friday?
Friday coming up?
This Friday?
Yeah, that's good.
I could do Friday.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's good for me.
I won't be able to make it. I won't be able
Not Friday.
What time on Friday?
Well, Ray won't be able
Well, I
to
think
make
we're
Friday.
looking at the next day. We're
holiday.
looking at Earth Day now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's Good Friday.
That's 21st.
is that the 21st?
I could get the
22nd
22nd
or after, anything before is
Yeah.
really close, so.
You're good on the 22nd?
I'm
Or
good on-
after.
I'm good with
I'm good on the
22nd.
22nd.
Are you guys? 22nd, Tuesday?
Yeah, I'm all right.
What other,
At what time?
You got the solid waste later.
That's it,
Do
that's,
a one
no, I mean, 22nd, I could,
well, and I don't know what his availability is, so I'm hoping maybe we could throw 3 days out with some block of time each of those 3 days.
Let's do 21st, 22nd, 23rd.
Well, Ray isn't good on the 21st.
Not good on 21st, okay.
22nd, 23rd, 24th, that's
I'd
Tuesday,
be
Wednesday,
fine with all of
Thursday.
those,
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
anytime in the afternoon.
I am good with those three at like 1 o'clock.
You want okay, Ray?
Yeah, anytime after lunch on those days.
About that?
Love that.
on the 23rd, I have a meeting at 3:30 that I need to be at, so.
So if we have it at 1,
So if we did a
I
one,
could,
we
yeah, I
should be
could,
okay.
yeah, that would work.
Okay,
That sound okay, Josh?
Yep.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
sure. We'll see what works for him.
That takes-
Okay, I guess that takes us to the new business.
Yes.
I believe so.
Okay, I have copies of the there's still the red to show what's changed from last time. There's a couple of tweaks. You guys on page 4 asked to show how many gallons that was calculated on. So you'll see it's based on 5,000 for the flat user, 5,000 gallons for the flat rate, 3,000 for the well user.
Both are well using.
Yeah,
You're right.
discounted well user.
Mallory, does that look right? Is that, are both of them including the administration fee and the electric fee?
No, that will be the base rate, and then you add electric and admin.
The 2219 to those?
Yes.
Is that right?
You know, some houses have the electric, some don't.
Right.
But all of them are now gonna get the admin fee, which well users never had that before.
Right.
So that's gonna be new.
Admin, is admin the 7?
745,
Okay.
yeah,
So this is totally geared towards the well users, right?
pretty much. And
I
then,
mean, they won't use the portable water meters.
well, then all the rest of us that have the electric, which I pay electric, so that'll be going up from 14 to 17.
Right. But there's a section in here about the portable water meter program.
That's already,
I think that's old.
yeah, that's, if it's red, it's new. If it's not red, it's already in place.
Okay, this is red. On page 2. Program allowing residents to borrow temporary water meters.
Oh, yeah, that was because I think we didn't have defined that earlier.
I mean, we can leave it in there.
Yeah, because that way, because we didn't have the definition. Yeah, we added some definition.
They'll never have the need to use that, but, I mean, we can leave it in there.
Well, the other,
These are just definitions.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Then I'll also say that the other change on page 5, you'll see before it was submitting, you had to submit the affidavit by December 15th, and we had robust discussion, and you guys directed to change that to March 31st.
Yes.
So that was changed. But everything else is just as it was the last time you guys had it on.
Yeah, and I had them at sewer superintendent instead of only, town treasurer.
I think it looks good. I mean, we
I
got
think
the
it looks
portable
good.
meter usage in there, but I mean, if that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Got all of our
That's
bases
about that
covered.
page 7.
Yeah, that's why it's there, because it's defined in this section,
Right.
even though it's already there. Yeah.
Like I said, you'll never use it, but I'm okay with that. I think it looks good. Come there. 20,
Ray or Mallory, I think I need a little bit of assistance on what I do here exactly.
Okay, so-
Reading the job.
Yeah, so you'll entertain a motion in a second, and then people vote on it, and then we'll need people to sign it that are in favor of it, and that's it.
Yeah, you don't have to read it or anything.
No.
Just do
Well, we
it.
just need to read the title. So this is Darmstadt ordinance number 2025-02, and ordinance amending sections 51.01 and section 51.04 of the municipal code of the town of Darmstadt, Indiana. So this would require a motion, a second, and then a vote.
All right, with that said, do I have a motion
Make
to
one
accept?
we accept it.
All right, I have a motion,
I'll second it.
and I have a second. Any discussion on this? All right, All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
And then there's on page 8, I don't know if whoever wants to use whichever copy.
I already wrote on mine, so.
Okay, here. This is here. Have Mallory sign it too, and we'll pass that around. Okay, I guess I'll just keep going on attorney comments. I think we've addressed the two main issues I had outstanding. I had a couple of questions from some of you guys at different points, but took care of that. Nothing that really needs to be reported on here.
All right, with that, Josh, anything else? Okay. Forward.
I've got kind of a question for Mr. Josh. On our portable meters. I read through it, and I mean, it's exactly the way we wanted it, but somebody asked me a question today I couldn't answer. It was a subdivision that's only got one meter for all the houses, and we got one of the houses that want to use portable meters to pop off, open up their pools.
Address subdivision.
Yeah, it's drafts, but I mean, we don't say they can't.
Well, and I just gave you my, can I see this?
Cause you had, you write a formal letter, I think, to them. Remember that when Josh said?
Yeah, I
that?
think we addressed.
But I don't know if we specifically talked about portable meters. It was about not having, can't offer summer averaging because they all don't have individual meters. But we don't address portable meters for each. Now, it wouldn't be up to us to adjust that one resident's bill. It would be up to their homeowners association because they only
Yeah,
get one.
what I've been doing all these years is when they fill their pool, and a few of them have second meters, like Danks and Loomis always had a second meter just for their pool, so they can take a photo and we know exactly.
Right.
So what I would do is hand write it on Dress Subdivision's big $3,000 bill or whatever it is. And I'd put like, Danks minus 8,000 gallons, Loomis minus 3,000 gallons.
I know that one letter.
Just so whoever pays the bill knows to deduct that off of their
Off of that
personal.
one individual. I
However
know
they
at one
do it.
time I think it was Bob Stout that said, hey, we won't accept the readings from your meters.
Anybody's, because we've got a couple other people in town that have.
Right,
Private
yeah,
meters
not just their
on
meters,
bills.
it's,
Yeah.
if they're gonna use a meter, we prefer it to be our own. So,
Yeah, and this does not discriminate against people that are in a subdivision like that. So if you guys want to bar it, we need to add it, but right now it doesn't prevent them from using it.
doesn't prevent them from using it.
Right now, again, I mean, you're welcome to add that requirement.
It
mean,
would work just like any other resident. If they fill their pool, they'll check it in and
See,
out with
that's
Aaron.
Kind
Aaron
of
will
the way I
let me
looked
know.
at it, but I wanted to bounce it off of everybody else instead of just my opinion. I think it's okay for them to, because there's 3 of them that's called wanted to, take out a meter.
Yeah, as long as Aaron lets me know this is Dress Subdivision, because it's a little bit different than other people.
Exactly, yes. So I'll just go ahead and let him know that it's okay, which, I kind of felt like it was okay, but I wanted y'all's blessing. Okay, all right. That worked.
Board member comments, Cecil, anything?
Not really. There is something that I just wanted to touch base on. The residents that's not on our sewer system, we're going to break down per district and send them out per district rather than send them all out at one time, because we're not going to be able to hook them all up at the same time. So we're just going to try to spread that out. So just to let you know what's going on. So we are starting to send out letters.
So do it district by district.
Yes. And we're starting with District 4. Just to make sure, not trying to pick on anybody in particular. But that and one other thing I wanted to bring up is, I guess basically was president of the Hoeing and Tiburon down here.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I've got a quote for the culvert pipe around the pump station and the telephone pole.
That's my friends, right?
And yes, it's Al France. I'd like to turn that over to somebody else to get the grass and the mats down and then decide whether or not we're gonna have Alan do this or not. So if you would like to take that over or somebody,
As far as, okay, I missed that because I
get quotes on seeding what's left and putting the mat on it, to let it grow before it gets washed out. And whether or not we're going to have Alan do that. I mean, he's the cheapest quote so far, and I got a lot of confidence in Alan's, work, so.
Is that something that he can do as far as putting the grass and mats down?
I think so. I mean, I could have him do that and tell him to go ahead and do it. I mean, he's like a third of the price of everybody else.
I'm good with that.
That makes sense. Since he's already doing the initial part of
Yeah,
it.
he's already there.
Okay, so you want me to go ahead and have them plan on doing this?
What's the total amount gonna be?
It's $3,100 for the pipe and the riprap and the dirt to fill over the pipe and to seed that. And then it'd be whatever it is to seed the hills and to put the mats over it.
Which shouldn't be a whole lot
It's not,
more.
it's not gonna be a whole lot more. I just like to tell Alan something, say, hey, listen, dude, we're gonna have you do this part, but we want you to add this other one, give me a price. So, I don't know, do we do a do not exceed on that? Say an additional, I don't know, 1,000,
And that's the number I kind of had in mind.
okay, with the additional seating and the matting and what have you. And then I can go ahead and let him get going on that so he can get it scheduled.
Yeah. Ray, what are your thoughts? You good?
fine.
All right.
Do that. So I'd like to make that motion
Okay.
that we have a do not exceed an additional $1,000 on top of the current quote of 3,100.
All right. I'll second it. I have a motion and a second to let Alan Franz do the ditch work and some additional seeding. Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
That's, we need to discuss the old state house, but this may not be the place to do that, so I'm done.
Okay. Chris?
You know what, with all of us working through the town on Saturday and stuff, there's so many of the yards that they haven't been taking the trees out of their ditches and all the leaves, and then when it rains, water comes across the roads, and, how can we address that?
The only thing we have is rank vegetation as far as an ordinance.
Yeah,
That's about it.
because, like the great big, tree down up on Boonville Harmony, and the guys pushed up on that's gonna fall on somebody.
How far back are we allowed to push dead trees, Josh, off the road?
Right away.
Yeah, off the right of way. But, yeah.
The only problem with this area is that it goes up a hill.
Yeah,
Before the right of way is,
otherwise you're gonna be throwing it in that big ditch right there.
Yeah.
It's not the best situation. I disagree a little bit with what we did there because it really comes down to being an act of God, and sometimes we just have to deal with it. If the guy was destitute, we probably would have been less likely to send him a letter. If it was some old lady who had a wooded area. But it's our responsibility to try to keep the road pushed back to a clear, passable. As far as ditches overrunning and so forth.
Some of
leaves,
them are so full of leaves.
It's honestly, after having driven around this town during the heavy rain, I can honestly say I don't think that's a can of worms we want to open up. I think we would best be to just give attention to the places where it needs attention. Because probably, without really measuring it, I'd say there's probably a third of the roads in this town don't have ditches like they need to. And if we go in there and start digging ditches, we gonna make a mess.
And we need to do that.
We do.
We do need
but
to do that.
It might require maybe going out on a day when it's rained like it has. Is that something we really, if it's been that way for 30, 40, 50 years and it's not presented a problem, maybe just let it go.
But some of them are getting worse, you know, because people used to take care of their yards and ditches and stuff, and everybody's not doing that anymore.
That is true. I would be up more for, instead of passing an ordinance or something on that, maybe just give attention to the ones, even if we pass an ordinance on it, to be vague in the description, which I know attorneys love, as to, at the discretion of the town, da, da, da.
There's also,
Yes,
there's also the drainage board, maybe, I think once or twice a month. That's something you could bring it up and maybe ask their expertise. I used to have to sit in meetings at court when I worked court security for 9 years. We'd have to stay because you would not believe how irate people would get because of water draining off this person's property.
Yeah.
Now it's coming on theirs.
and it's going
And a
downhill.
lot of these subdivisions that if they don't put up the straw or they don't do the orange barriers with the mud.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
No, I've heard of it, yes.
There was I'm gonna say it was a special meeting of the drainage board out at Ben Crone's place just last week.
Yes, there was.
Yeah, I made it out to that. It was, but it wasn't advanced, addressing places out here so much as it was the low grounds, the Big Creek, the farming ground and so forth. So,
Yeah, okay, you know, something you could inquiry with them.
Follow,
and say,
follow up with them.
Right,
thank you.
wealth of knowledge.
Thank you.
Let's see, board member comments. Chris, anything else?
Where do we stand on our Trust Indiana stuff? We've not,
Ever since we submitted all that stuff to her, I haven't heard anything.
do we need to send her
Reminder,
let's send her a reminder and then kind
you
of
want
go
me to
from
do
there,
that?
please. And that's all I have.
Right?
I had a resident call, they wanted me to go out and look at a drainage issue. And it was nowhere near the road or the ditches, it was between their neighbor's property and their property. And I told him we have no standing to do anything about that, and it would be a waste of his time and my time. And he seemed to understand that. So, you know,
Some private property.
yeah, it's completely on private property between two neighbors, and I was like, man, there's just nothing the town can do for that, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's all that came up.
Or do we want to?
All right. Anything else?
Right.
And that was it. Right? You good? All right. I don't have anything. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
I
Motion
second.
to adjourn and a second. Meeting adjourned.
I'll
Thank you all.
follow up with them.
I think they meet the same time as the commissioners, they do.